It's been a long time coming, but we finally have Bermuda Triangle decks to show on this channel. I haven't shown Bermuda Triangle in a long time. I finally built the three of the classic decks from EB11. So Coral, we got Pacifica, and we've got Riviera. So, and I'm aware of Riviera's errata on the card. It can only be, it's like Skull Witch Nevin now, basically. But we'll do Coral today. Coral was always my favorite one. It was the second ride chain. Riviera's the original ride chain. Coral was the second ride chain that they got. So, but this is not my favorite Bermuda Triangle deck. For those wondering what's my favorite Bermuda Triangle deck, that would definitely be Velvet Voice Reindeer. Velvet Voice Reindeer was my favorite one because when I started Vanguard, most people were running Pacifica from Banquet of Divas, but I had to go with Kareen and Velvet Voice Reindeer because they were dirt cheap commons, and it was arguably the better deck. It was a grade 3. When your drive check reveals a grade 3, you can bounce a rear guard to your hand. And that comboed really well with the back in the day of like how Bermuda Triangle played. But anyway, today we're going to be doing Coral. So for Aurora Star Coral, so this is the Bermuda Triangle deck that does a lot of like Soul Blast stuff. So there are cards that have an effect where if they have this kind of effect. If you Soul Blast a total of, and it'll be some number of cards, the original of it's like something happens basically. So in her case, if she's the Vanguard, the original critical of all your units with Coral in the name becomes 2. So, and then she has a main phase Vanguard effect once per turn, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2, return a normal unit from each of your rear guard and drop zone to your hand. If you returned a card with Coral, this unit gets 15k. So definitely a lot better than her initial foray into the world of Vanguard way back when she came out with, I think, Prisms, Prism Image Vert and Labrador. That was like the very, very beginning, right before the Break Ride era started back in 2013. So anyway, for her, you gotta run 4 of her. It's a Coral deck. Next, for Glaring Moon, Miera. So this is Coral's backup grade 3 because it when placed as Vanguard, counterblast 1, search your deck for Aurora Star Coral, reveal it to your hand. Reveal it from your hand and put it in your and shuffle your deck. Put it in the hand, shuffle your deck. So yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of other things to run. This deck is kind of a budget deck, depending on the grade 0 lineup actually, because we're not running a whole lot of expensive grade 2s. It's pretty straightforward. Running 4 Shiny Star Coral. I don't think this Bermuda deck is that expensive. I'm trying to remember like what the prices are on some of these cards, but I know there's some cards that are pretty pricey. I will get to them in a little bit, but I don't think this deck has a lot of them. It has one. It has one that you can't find at EB11, and we'll talk about it at the end. Next, we got 4 Charming Make. Charming. It's gonna be Make because Make would be weird. Piaoliang. Charming Make? Oh, Make. Yeah, it is Make. What am I talking about? It's not a name. Charming Make, because she's doing makeup. Yeah, that's right. Piaoliang. It's like a Chinese name. This is like a Japanese sounding word. So yeah, anyway. When placed, if you have a Vanguard with Coral, it's card name Counterblast 1 until the end of turn your opponent would call. This is your guard restrictor basically. They have to call 2 or more units on the turn it's placed as rear guard. And then I'm running 3 Riddle, Mysteria, Luvene or Luvene or Luvene. This unit gets 2k for each face-on card in your damage zone. You do tend to counterblast quite a bit in here actually. Coral's gonna be counterblasting usually like every turn. You're gonna try to keep that soul up. It's gonna be rewriting and stuff. This thing counterblasts, so gets 2k for each damage that's face down, and then when it attack hits the Vanguard, if all cards in your damage zone are face down, you can Soul Blast 2 any number of times and countercharge for each time. So this is like a weird and interesting countercharger, but you have to have the soul to do that. And soul can be a problem in this deck. And then I am running the 1 Pearl Sisters Perla. You're only allowed to run 1 of each, her and her sister. So we run, of course, 1 Perle. So this is where I make the deck a little bit unique. I think the artwork goes that way. Yeah, I think that's the right way. Maybe, hold up. It doesn't line up. Oh yeah, it goes that way because here's her hair. So there we go. Pearl Scissors Perle and Pearl Scissors Perla. So one of each, because you only have to have one of each. Because what they do, when they're both on the field together, they give the other one 8. Okay, so in the case of Perla, she gives Perle 20k and a critical, which makes this swing 28 with a critical 2. And then Perle gives Perla 18 and a critical, so she swings again 28 with a critical 2. So that's the reason why they restricted them, because if you ran like 4 of each of them, you can imagine how problematic that would be for the opponent. Dealing with like a 28 and then boosted to get like, if it's boosted, then that's even scarier. But like, yeah, so these are in here kind of because they're cool. They're cards that came out back when like Reindeer and Pacifica were brand new. Banquet of Divas, basically EBO2, way back when Vanguard started out. So it's kind of a nice to see them in the game again. So running, I had to run them. I had an open spot for both the Grade 2 lineup and the Grade 1 lineup. So why not? Grade 1, 4 Fresh Start Coral. You gotta run. It's a coral deck. You gotta run all the corals at max copies. It's a must do on this. It's like a requirement. When placed, Soul Charge 1. If your Vanguard's coral in the name, you get Soul Charge again, and this gets 5k power, so it becomes 13. When placed on Vanguard, if your soul has a card with coral, and it will, because we're running this coral starter, draw a card and put a card from your hand in the soul. So this is the main engine for keeping the soul. It does the upkeep with the soul, so that you have enough soul to pay the cost for your big plays. Next, we run 4 Electro, Techno, Thiko. So, that's an interesting name. Counterblast 1, put this in the soul, and one of your units with coral gets plus 15k. So that makes 23. Or no, coral gets 15, not him, not this. So, but this thing also, it's kind of, the way I think of this card is like Calamity Tower Wyvern from the Overlord the Clan deck. If you guys want to think of it, of what it does, that's essentially what it does. It goes into the soul, whereas Calamity Tower retires itself, so this helps build soul. Maybe it's like kind of like Dragonic Gaius or something. And then the only other Grade 1 I'm running is 4 Mini Sparkle Parum, because if you Soul Blast a total of 2 or more, and usually Coral's going to be Soul Blasting too because of her cost, this unit gets 10k power. So that just turns this into an 18k booster or attacker. So a very simple deck to build, actually, if you look at that lineup. Now here's where it gets pricey. So I am actually running the Draw Sentinels in my Coral deck as opposed to my Riviera or my Pacifica deck. That's because the Coral deck in my specific build went for the big numbers, so I needed those Grade 1s over there. But yeah, it draws Sentinel. This card is not. I think Assault is still the most expensive one to find, or hardest one to find. But this one's up there. It's pretty rare. It's kind of hard to find. But I do have a playset, luckily enough. So we're able to build the deck the way I want to. I didn't really want to run the Grade 1 Sentinels in here. But that gives you more draw power. There's your 8 critical. So these are all the original artworks. These are the ones from the EBO5, because this is EBO5. So this was not reprinted, which annoys me, because EB11. If this was reprinted, I probably would have actually got the booster boxes and unboxed them on this channel. But anyway, and then of course the 4 heal, again the older art. And then Angelic Star Coral. So that's the Coral deck, guys. It's pretty basic draw engine and big numbers on the columns with the 18k here, and and Perla and Perle are in there. They might show up every now and then, but only 1 copy of each. So you want to run draw power so you can draw into them. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the deck profile, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.